Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yes, Lord, we here. Let me go ahead and come to the ring, man. Let me come to the ring. Y'all know what it is.
Fighting out of the southpaw stance. Standing at 6'2", 190 pounds. I give you, boy, I'm made different. I work too hard. Ain't no way I ain't getting paid different. This from the dirt, this from the mud. You ain't slave with me. This was strictly for my homies that was brave with me. You can't come in with me now if you ain't came with me. Skull looking at you.
Yeah.
I seen a couple people try and it ain't in pretty. I only keep the people around that stood on 10 with me.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Hey, it's Classic with the Classic Code Sports. We streaming live right now from the Classic Codes and Classic Code Sports simultaneous, man. Get in where you fit in. Don't matter what platform you from. Subscribe to both. Hit the like button and make sure you turn on the notifications. Man, jump in the comments whether you agree or disagree, because y'all know we got to crack these codes, man. Let's talk about it, man. Fatal Fury last night, Friday, May the 2nd. A big fight card put on by Riyadh Season, Turkey Al-Sheikh, was run through the Zone pay-per-view. A great card put together. We had 3 fights. Let me show y'all the fight card real quick, man, so y'all can see once again. We had Arnold Barboza's Jr. versus Teofimo Lopez. We had Devin the Dream Haney making his return against Jose Ramirez. And then we had Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. I'm going to discuss all 3 fights, and I'm going to give my take, my feedback, my reaction, all that. Yeah. Only the way we can here at the Classic Codes. We're going to be objective. We're going to be effective, and we're not going to be too selective. We just going to tell the truth, man. We just going to tell the truth. So starting off with the Teofimo Lopez and Barboza fight. If you watch my prediction video or my breakdown video of that fight, the fight essentially went the way that I said that it probably would go. I said that Barboza could have a couple of paths to victory, but we'll see. I said that Teofimo's athleticism and his movement would create issues, and he should be able to box his way to a victory. I also told y'all to bet the over on rounds for that fight. I hope y'all put that in y'all parlay, because I sure did. But that fight, the fight honestly looked a lot like the Haney fight, which I'll discuss next. But the Teofimo Barboza fight, it came out, it was just 2 guys that are boxers. Both guys have fairly low KO ratios in comparison to some of the bigger punchers in the sport. And with that being said, you know it's going to be a lot of pick and poking, a lot of finding shots. You know, neither one of these guys really sit down super hard on a large portion of the percentage of shots they throw, and then neither one of these guys are high output fighters. So it was a tit for tat, boxing match. I enjoyed watching the pugilistic chess match that it was. Personally, I felt like the announcers and the commentators were extremely biased, almost as if they were paid to only talk about Teofimo Lopez. There were times in the fight where Teo and Barboza both were just posturing, looking, feigning, stepping, looking, posturing, feigning, and neither one of them were doing very much. But all you heard the commentator saying was Teo just looks so beautiful in there. Look at the way he's moving. Look how he's setting things up. And neither fighter was doing anything. But they were talking like Teo was sliding, gliding, ripping shots and slipping. And there were moments where they were just posturing, looking, not even fully in range to engage like that. And they was just talking like so much work was being done. So the lopsided commentary probably led the masses to believe that this wasn't a close fight. But in all honesty, the fight was close. It was close. I knew by the end of the fight that Teofimo had won. So that lets you know that it probably was a close unanimous decision. He created separation. But it was a fight indeed. He did have to go out there and secure the championship rounds of this fight. It wasn't a blowout to where by the 11th, you just felt like Barboza's needed a knockout. Maybe a knockdown would have helped his case, but a knockout, no. So it was a good fight. I appreciated the fight. I didn't think Teo looked overly impressive. I think he looked cool. I thought he could have been more active. I thought he could have navigated distance more efficiently, especially with his athletic ability and his perceived high IQ. But honestly, I mean, he landed some slick shots and things like that you see him work on the bag in the gym. But other than that, as far as being able to get leverage on shots, plant your feet like he was when he was at the lighter weights and really like, making somebody step back from him, he wasn't fighting in that way. And maybe he's more comfortable fighting and sliding and gliding and just touching and going. Maybe that makes him feel safe. Maybe that makes him feel comfortable and confident. If that's the TO that we're going to see, it's still a guy that's difficult to beat. But y'all can forget about betting on the KOs. That's over with. As far as Barboza will recover from this. He'll recover from this. Barboza has a fighting style where he knows how to win fights. And so for a lot of people, he's going to make beating him very difficult. Like I said, this wasn't an easy fight for Tio. They made it seem like it was a landslide. If you listen to the announcers, it would, with your eyes closed, you would have thought it was just a straight ass whooping. Tio got brushes on the bridge of his nose, a mouse under his eye, got a black eye. Like Tio was getting touched, no puffy. So this wasn't that type of fight. It wasn't a one-sided ass whooping. And Barboza represented himself well enough to stay in position to continue to be, a person that is a respectable name to go on someone's resume. And so because of that, it'll garner him marquee fights and good paydays. I think he's gonna be straight for the next couple years. Win or lose, he just represented himself well on a real big stage. So I don't see anything wrong with Barboza. I still like Barboza. I did have one parlay with a Barboza play in it just to see, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, most of the bets I put in was for distance. Was just for distance. I just knew this one was going 12, and so I just added it to the lay. But yeah, man, we're gonna move on. So we just got done discussing the Teofimo versus Barboza fight. So now we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on into Devin the Dream Haney'S return after a year layoff against Jose Ramirez. Devin came out in this fight wearing all black DHP, nothing too flashy with designers, stuff like that. Nothing to do with boxing, right? But I'm just letting y'all know that's how he came into the ring. When I see fighters come in all black, much like Mike Tyson, I think they own business. I feel like they own business. You know what I mean? Jose Ramirez came into the ring wearing mostly white. And honestly, he just came to be exactly what he thought he was going to be, an opponent to step in front of Devin with a reasonable name and no real chance of victory. As the fight began, Devin moved all through the first round, second round. He exercised great movement all throughout the fight, but as far as moving in a way that could have appeared erratic, he moved quite a bit in the first two rounds and then settled, in my opinion, started to settle in the third. And that could have been for multiple reasons. That could have been just simply to be getting warm, finding timing, watching his opponent, seeing, finding openings, seeing where he could set traps. It could have been a lot of information he gathered from moving and watching Jose's reaction to his movement. But in the first couple of rounds, he moved quite a bit. And then in the third on, it seemed like he was moving in pure strategy. It wasn't necessarily as shaky looking. And this is not me being swayed by the commentators. Just genuinely, it seemed like in the first round, it almost looked like he was doing like his footwork drill in the gym. The way he was just, moving back and forth, shuffling, changing directions, moving back and forth. It looked like a warm-up, to be honest with you. But yeah, Devin, this is a one-sided fight. Devin won all 12 rounds on my scorecard. If you wanted to give Ramirez a round, you could have gave him the first round. But other than that, there really was no other rounds to give him. It was a situation where Devin didn't do a ton of work on offense, but he also didn't do much getting hit. He didn't allow Ramirez to get his work off. With the movement that Devin was exhibiting, he showed that he was in great condition. And on top of that, he didn't allow Ramirez to get set. Every time Ramirez wanted to set his feet to try to throw, every time he wanted to set to try to set something up, every time he wanted to set himself, Devin made him reset. And so Ramirez found himself in a situation where essentially he was just trying to find Devin all night. Essentially, that was the situation. He was just trying to find Devin all night, and he never did. Devin didn't take any significant punches. Ramirez attempted multitude of left hooks, which is what you guys harped on so much. Devin caught, if not all of them. He slipped them, rolled them. Left hooks weren't, a problem at all. He saw all of them coming. Seemed to be, well trained into his muscle memory. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Shane Mosley, everybody in the camp that worked with him. His defense was spectacular. I do feel like he's going to only continue to get sharper. I don't think Devin will continue to fight in this style. It was more so him just coming in and getting back comfortable in the ring. I'm glad that it went all 12 rounds. At certain points in the fight, Devin landed some vicious hooks in exchanges, some nice, be first and last moments in exchanges when he did decide to plant his feet and allow for Ramirez an opportunity to throw his shit. Devin was winning the exchanges. So, a spectacular performance by Devin the Dream Haney, still undefeated, still champion, still an excellent fighter. There's nothing other I could say besides an excellent performance for Devin Haney. I saw a lot of people talking about Devin and the way that he fought and how much he moved and how many punches he landed total. And what they're not talking about, the fact that he won every round, he won the fight, and he's still undefeated. There's nothing really else to talk about besides that. You guys want to talk about how he wins, when he wins, and then you want to talk nothing but pure shit when he go out and fight like a warrior, but he loses, to a man that's overweight and on PEDs, So with that, we'll move off of the Haney versus Ramirez fight. Again, y'all know what it was. If y'all watched my breakdown video that I made before the fight, this fight went the way that I thought that it would go. A 12-round, shellacking, a boxing exhibition. It went the way that I said it would go in my breakdown video. So, we was 2 for 2 on this one on the parlay as well. So, yeah. And then moving into the last fight, Garcia versus Romero. Ooh, it was a doozy. Ryan rides in on the Batmobile. Romero comes in on the lowrider. They get into the ring. Rolly looked stronger than Ryan at the weigh-in. That gave me a lot of confidence in Rolly, to be honest with you guys. I saw Rolly switching up some things when he was training in regards to working with his jab. And I also liked his posture. Rolly is fighting with his weight distributed more on his back foot in certain settings. And I think it allows for him to stay into position, get out of range for shots, and then spring forward and get his offense off, which made it hard for Ryan, being a person with very average or moderate footwork. To be honest with you, I would even say, in my opinion, Ryan's feet are ass. But being a person who doesn't have great feet, and Rolly being a person with, punishing power, you can't just approach him any old type of way. You want to set up your approach. And I just don't think, from an IQ standpoint, Ryan had what he needed to go to mentally to set up the shots he needed to get off and be active and stay safe at the same time. Right. I don't think Ryan had the combinations or the footwork to step over, change the angle, get this off, get that off, roll out, and, be out the way from Rolly's counterattack. Like Rolly said in the post-fight press conference, soon as Ryan opened up, he got caught. And then after that, he didn't want to open up no more. And to be honest with y'all, I won the most money betting live on this fight. Soon as Rolly dropped Ryan, I bet on Rolly by decision while the odds was plus 2,500. Yup, bet on Rolly by decision, because I knew when Ryan got up, he would fight tentative the rest of this fight, and I knew Rolly had a chance to win on the cards. I didn't bet nothing crazy on it, but I took advantage of those odds, and I won. So, and I also had a lay with Rolly in it. So we did good on the slips, y'all. We did good on the slips. I did not do a breakdown video of this fight before it. I think I talked about it a little bit on the Devin video, but I didn't do a breakdown for this fight before this fight, because I'm not really big into, like, Ostarine Garcia and, making videos on him and stuff like that. It's just, the guy cheated, could have really, unalived the man in the ring. And so, integrity and things like that. And then some of the racist things he said, I understand he was under the influence of whatever the things that he was putting into his body, but, everybody don't get a pass for everything they do. Some stuff, we not giving, forgiveness for. So it just is what it is with Ostarine Garcia. He got his medicine. He got caught with a left hook. Double left hook is what put him down. The same shit he said Devin couldn't dodge when he was throwing it with that Ostarine on it. So he ate that shit, hit the dirt. He got up, fought like a scared bitch the rest of the fight. And Rolly Romero, took everything that they said he wouldn't take. Beat the odds and put some respect on Rolly's name. Put some respect on Rolly's name. There's a lot of boxers that get very far with having a certain set of weapons that they lean on, and they just make it hard for you to stay away from them. Deontay Wilder ran it up with a right hand. Oh, they say, his defense not the greatest. Oh, his footwork not the greatest. Oh, he started boxing late. He ran it up with the right hand till the wheels fell off. Ran it up with the right hand. So sometimes it only takes being good with one weapon. Bruce Lee said he don't fear the man who practiced 1,000 punches 10 times or whatever, or one time. He feared a man that practiced one punch 1,000 times. You just need one weapon and one chance to get that joint off. You know what I mean? So all in all, no Ostarine, no problem. You know what I mean? For Ryan Garcia, no Ostarine, no problem. He came in body looking soft. They said he had issues with the weight cut. All in all, I think this young man is dealing with too much stuff outside of the sport of boxing. I think that the burdens that he's carrying, they weighing a ton on him. He doesn't seem to be all the way focused. I don't know if he got the right people around him. A lot of people that capitalize off of him, but I don't know if he got the right people around him. I don't know who's around him. I'm just going off what I can see. I just don't know if he got the right people around him because he don't seem all the way together. Behavior was crazy erratic before the Devin fight. A year later, he coming in with 2 big suits on. He's sounding different. He looking different. They said it took him a while to make weight. It's just crazy. And then he comes into the fight and he looks like a shell of what we've seen from him. At least the Ryan Garcia that I used to, see before the Tank Davis fight. When the fights got tough, he kind of dug in and was like willing to be the person that wanted to really beat the other guy's ass. Last night was a chance when he got up off the ring to do that same thing, bite down on the mouth guard and be the person that's going to dig in and maybe potentially take some shots, but believing that they shit going to, get the job done. He never went for that. He never tried to, go for that moment. He's not that guy. When he don't got that sauce, when he don't got that extra sauce, he's not that guy. Ryan Garcia off the Ostarine, no problemo, and I hope that Devin and Ryan still run it back because Devin deserved to beat his ass. He just deserves that. He deserved his get back on a fair playing field. One thing Rolly did, he kept that right hand home all night long. Ryan threw that left hook. It was just catching glove. The right hand was home all night long, and he kept his posture set to where he was leaned back and his elbow was tucked tight against the body. Wasn't really a window for him to drop his left hook into the body either. Rolly Romero had a great strategy, a great game plan, great patience, great level changes, and he was a superior fighter on this night. And Rolly needs to get his flowers, and Ryan needs to go back to the drawing board and just figure out what's going on. Because I heard he cried in the car. We don't feel sorry for you. You came in, you was loaded. He came in heavy. He came in, he was loaded. He was smoking substances after the fight. He popped this shit. He let everybody laugh at Devin, knowing that he went in with an unfair advantage. He didn't fight fair. He didn't have any integrity. And now look at him.
Natural born crash dummy. And he go crash out.
Yeah, so make sure y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop some comments whether you agree or disagree. Let's have a conversation. We just talking sports, you know what I mean? It's the Classic Codes Sports. If you're watching this from the Classic Codes, go over to Classic Codes Sports and make sure you tap in with me over there and subscribe to that channel as well. We're doing all type of sports takes. We're going to help y'all with y'all fantasy draft. We cover a lot of boxing. We cover basketball. We doing it all, man. We're doing reaction videos, the whole thing. We just going to have some fun with it and we're going to run it up. But for sure, if you're watching this from Classic Code Sports and you already a subscriber, it's much love. If you haven't subscribed, get on all my channels, man. But if you don't do nothing else, make sure you stick to the codes. We going
Classic Codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Harden my heart and now harden the flow.